Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special edition of the React Podcast, episode 15, where we will be talking about the Nintendo Direct. I'm here joined by my guest, Mr. Jakejames Lugo. How's it going, Jake?
What's going on, my dude? It's refreshed right off from watching the actual Nintendo Direct. Literally, like it just happened like 2 minutes ago. Not even.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. And no, it is not a joke. Even though this is April Fool's, this is what Nintendo decided to do today.
The
So,
worst timing, by the way, ever for them to announce anything whatsoever. They couldn't wait till tomorrow. I mean, it's like,
well, no, why? Why tomorrow?
I mean, that's the joke. That's the Iwata humor. We're gonna have to call that.
Oh, well, they know that Mortal Kombat stream is tomorrow. That's why they said we need to hurry up and announce whatever we're going to announce today, because, yeah, can't compete with Mortal Kombat.
They knew Ed Boon was coming for them.
That's right. So, what would you say were the key takeaways from the show? I have some things to say, but I'm going to let you go first.
Well, there's a lot to unpack. They did talk about a lot of stuff. What I found interesting is that they didn't talk about all the stuff that people wanted them to talk about, and it's a good and a bad thing. It's a double-edged sword, because I'm pretty sure a lot of stuff that people wanted them to actually discuss, really what people wanted to know about, because after the announcement of Zelda Wii U not coming out this year and not even being at E3 this year, everybody was expecting them to talk about Star Fox. That was like the big thing for everybody. There was even stuff coming out earlier today for April Fools that Star Fox, might be the big thing for this Direct going into E3 in the next couple months. But in typical Nintendo fashion, they didn't give everybody what they wanted. They gave everybody what Nintendo wanted. So we thought we had some surprises, which I think were good. The biggest surprises, in my opinion, were really Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, where they showed gameplay for the first time. That was like, or not really gameplay, but like a trailer, really what it was. And that was a huge surprise, because I don't think anybody expected that to be shown. I would expect that to really come out like during E3, because that was a game that like, they had a lot of stuff under wraps that they mentioned it. They kind of talked about it very vaguely, but we never actually seen it. And then have that Atlas logo appear on the screen. I actually thought it was going to be something Persona related. I did not expect it to be that game at all. But the other thing too, I think that and I'll let you go afterwards, is that the actual stuff for Smash Brothers, where they revealed that Lucas is actually going to be a playable character besides Mewtwo as DLC. And Lucas, I said Mucus by mistake. Lucas is actually coming out in June. Okay, or it was either May or June, like one of the days that they decided there, but most likely this summer. So that's very interesting, because again, we didn't expect them to actually, say any other characters that might be DLC for Smash, but this one's actually confirmed. Crazy, actually show gameplay, which is really cool. But that opens up the floodgates, because they also had this kind of like ballot type of form where people could actually write into Nintendo on what characters they want to see in the new Smash Brothers game. Now, that could be anything. Maybe they could take a bunch of feedback, and hopefully we actually see a new character that was like a really popular one from any of the series included in the Smash Brothers for Wii U or DS actually make an appearance down the line as DLC. But that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, just to go ahead and piggyback off of what you said in the beginning, I was expecting some type of teaser today for Star Fox or something of that nature. They already said that they're not going to be at E3, but we already know they will have a Direct at E3. And of course, wait until that time will probably be most likely to their benefit. However, it would have been good for them to at least, maybe say that they have something coming, and it could have been a teaser. Don't show gameplay. Save that for the Direct around E3 time.
I agree.
Because you need to build momentum because of the fact that people know Zelda's not coming, but also because of the fact that this stuff came out about the NX, and now people have to question, well, how valuable is the Wii U? Because I think a lot of people are going to start questioning, well, those that don't have a Wii U, such as myself, I will be asking, why do I need to get a Wii U when I know Nintendo is working on something else? Even though it's not coming out right away, still, I would like to see what they have coming to the console. Now, one thing I will say is this. Some pretty interesting announcements today. I think the Fire Emblem announcement was a big deal. only for the fact that I know how popular Fire Emblem Awakening was when it came out a couple years ago, and I'm glad to see that they're doing another one. Because
Yeah, two technically, if you count Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, technically it's two.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I actually missed a little bit of the direct, so I missed that part. I did catch the other parts though. But yeah, you're right. It is two games, so that's good. Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. That is another game that will be a huge success for Nintendo. And like I said, what I saw today is that once again, if you're a 3DS owner, you have a lot of great things to look forward to. I'm not quite sure what I have to look forward to on the Wii U. At least for what I have seen so far. The DLC for Smash Brothers is cool, but man, I want some more games. I know Zelda ain't dropping, so what can you show me as a consumer that will entice me to say, okay, I have faith that Nintendo is in good shape?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I think they show games. They have games. I'm going to assume that the new Fire Emblem game, that's just Fire Emblem, is going to be a Wii U game because they haven't really explicitly come out and said if it's like a 3DS game or whatnot. I think they were showing some gameplay of it here and there because they mentioned that it's going to be two separate type of protagonists, where male or female, and that you get to choose your path and such. So, I hope I'm not wrong in that regard, or if I am, leave us a comment in that. But with that being said, I mean, they have stuff like that. They obviously had a bunch of indie games, which is all cool and dandy and such. And then you got your Mario Maker and everything. What I really think the issue was that not only the timing of this Direct, I think it was the worst timing period to actually have a Direct on April Fool's. I think that was incredibly stupid on their part. And I know it's laughable, it's funny, yeah, it's totally a goof on them. At the same time, though, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I'm pretty sure it's the sympathy, or not sympathy, but like, the emotions from everybody else, where they should have at least mentioned or at least give a hint of Star Fox or something, kind of like what they did last time with Miyamoto, where he was actually playing Star Fox and it was blurred on the screen, and he actually had it on the gamepad. You could actually see him controlling an R-Wing on the gamepad and the TV screen. Like, he mentioned that, we got big on the line that's like Star Fox related. So that would have been nice to have something like that, because then that would have at least eased people in to be really excited to go into E3 to see what they bring to the Direct. Because now, at this point, because they didn't show anything like that, they didn't even really acknowledge it at all at this point. Pretty much that's the general expectation now. So I think it kind of sets them up, and it puts a little bit much more pressure on them. Outside of everything else of what they need to get done, especially with the stuff with the NX, I think it was kind of smart of them not to mention the NX and not really to talk about it, because they already stated in the Japanese press conference when they did kind of name drop that we wouldn't hear anything about that this year. So I don't expect we're going to hear anything about NX now going into E3, even going into TGS this year. So I would expect more of that obviously next year. But again, I feel like they put a lot more pressure on themselves now at this point, especially not even giving us a little bit of hint of Star Fox.
Well, let me ask you a question though. Specifically, staying on that topic, specifically as from a consumer standpoint. Now we know how popular the Zelda franchise is. We know that when that game drops, just about everybody will want a Wii U. For those that don't have one, they may want one if they are into Zelda. But let me ask you a question: do you think that Star Fox is a good enough replacement this fall for Zelda? Even though they never confirmed Zelda was coming out this fall, I think everyone thought, well, they hoped that it would come out this fall. But do you think Star Fox can live up to being a good enough for people to have this holiday season and still be a major game you will want a Wii U for?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think Star Fox, the brand name, is necessarily as big as The Legend of Zelda. I don't think it ever will be as big as a deal it might be. But I do think that Star Fox is definitely enough to get a lot of people's attention, because there hasn't been a real true tradition or new iteration of Star Fox since not even counting the Star Fox 64 on 3DS. I think that's just a remake. That's not a new iteration or new addition to the series. We haven't had a new one since the GameCube, and that was really kind of like the early to mid GameCube time, during its life cycle. It's been a long time since we had a brand new Star Fox. I don't even think we even got one on the Wii, now that I think about it, at this point. So it's been gone for such a long time, and I feel like now, with a lot of the general buzz like building up about it, it's definitely going to be something that's going to be definitely noteworthy. It's going to get a lot of attention, and especially if it turns out being good, and if it ends up does coming up this holiday season, which I don't know, I'm a little conflicted about because on one hand, I think that they don't have anything this holiday season other than like a few titles. If not anything else, they might announce at E3. You know, because again, with Nintendo right now, it's anybody's ball game, and especially with Zelda now coming out this year, I'm already saying that. But at the same time, you know, I feel like with some of their bigger series, you know, with maybe the exception of Mario and such, they're really kind of like, you know, taking a long time to build some of these stuff, especially Zelda, which I'm glad the Zelda game, was it whatever it's being called on you, is got delayed into next year. I'm pretty sure that'll come out to like, you know, what is it? It'll come out around, give or take, you know, maybe holiday next year, give or take. But besides Star Fox, I would, if I wasn't a hardcore Nintendo fan, if I was just looking at it from just like a regular person that's just, okay, what the hell is the reason to get a Wii U? I'd be a little bit worried and kind of like shy away from it at this point right now, as far as like what's like the big deal. I mean, granted now we have Smash Brothers, which is a big deal of itself, and a lot of people still say that, you know, Smash Brothers doesn't really move units and such, especially since they put it on 3DS, which was a stupid decision. But I think really that, you know, the only real kind of like reason to own a Wii U right now is for some of the games that have been out for a while that are like the mainstay Nintendo games, which is Super Mario 3D World, Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker HD, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart 8, and I think that's also another thing we got out of this Nintendo Direct, is that there's a lot of DLC coming out for games that are already out, both on and 3DS. I mean, they got stuff going down for Codename Steam. They got stuff definitely coming not only in relation to the Amiibo lines that are coming out soon, but also just regular DLC coming out for Mario Kart 8, and then all the stuff they got coming for Smash Brothers, you know, from different points. So I really feel that that's the reason right now one would think to own a Wii U. As far as down the line, I'd be a little bit worried.
That made perfect sense. Yeah, everything you said, a very good explanation. All right, another question I have now is, I know that there was a leaked list that you showed me the other day of
Yeah, I remember that.
what was supposedly supposed to get revealed. So besides the Star Fox stuff, what else on that list wasn't mentioned?
Hardly anything on that list was mentioned, really, if you really think about it. I know my friend was kind of keeping track, you know, during the Direct of, like, you know, what that actually was. That leak got proven fake well in advance. And the reason why is because the actual guy who made it came out and said, listen, I just completely just did this out of a joke. I didn't expect them to actually announce on April 1st they were going to do a Direct, which I don't think anybody thought Nintendo was going to do that. That was, like, totally from left field. And then again, also soon on top of that, which was like, you know, they hardly gave us any time to really kind of like, oh, okay, let's get ready here. But pretty much not a lot of stuff out of that list got confirmed. So I think we got mostly stuff that we, especially in the DLC. I mean, again, stuff like Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem was just completely from left field. I don't think anybody really expected to see anything from that game at all. To me, again, I said before, that should have been a game or something they should have showed at E3. Oh. Really. I mean, for all we know now at this point, maybe they got something really kick-ass come E3, especially involving Star Fox or anything else that they have not talked about, because you know how tight-lipped Nintendo is about stuff. And speaking of tight-lipped, I want to mention this, because we were talking about this briefly before we started recording. Nintendo's already content IDing people on YouTube with some of the trailer stuff that they're posting up about the actual Direct. It just happened not even 5 minutes ago. But, like, you know, at the time of this recording, like, they're really tight-lipped about stuff. It's pretty ridiculous for Nintendo right now. But none of that stuff from that list really got confirmed.
Wow. I didn't know about that.
Not even the apology of Iwata. I know that actual Direct leak actually came out and said, like, listen, Iwata was going to apologize for some of the stuff happening. Now, I forgot exactly what it was. He was going to do some sort of apology about, I think it was about Zelda Wii U, about the delay and such, and we didn't even get that.
Yeah, we didn't get that. We should have got that. But, you know, we're not going to get that because they're not going to admit that they, you know, made a mistake with the time calculations. The game's always getting delayed, so I guess that had to be expected. But
delays are a good thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely a good thing. And I agree, you know, give Zelda as much time as possible, same as with the Uncharted delay. However, I will say this, and I'm going to say it now. This is April 1st, and no, this is not a joke. As of April 1st, it's looking like Microsoft has a very good very good fall lineup plan. I don't know
Yeah.
what Sony has. I don't know what Nintendo has, but E3 is going to be a hell of a show because I
Oh
know.
yeah, dude. E3 is gonna really give us an idea of what this fourth quarter is gonna be like. I'll tell you right now, Microsoft, from the way that Sony and Nintendo are kind of keeping their cards really close to the chest, they're
Yeah,
being very quiet on a lot of stuff, and I really think we're probably gonna get some big stuff from Sony, especially with some of their studios being so quiet. But Microsoft's got a good setup. They got a pretty damn good setup. So we'll see what these big three bring in come come the E3 time, because again, there's just so much. There's so much unanswered questions, so many of them right now. Especially now, even now at this point with Nintendo, after this direct, we got even more questions than we do have answers.
that's true. You're right. So, any other thoughts on the direct on the Nintendo Direct or any other things you want to touch on?
I will say that it's good that now we're getting new Street Pass games. You know, it's been a while since we actually got Street Pass stuff. That was like completely, again, random, completely from left field from Nintendo, because it's been a while since we got that first update with the other. I think it was like four different games, or yeah, it was like four different games that we got for the Street Pass stuff. You know, outside of like the Puzzle Fighter, the Warriors Way, and stuff like that. Uh, the one thing that is significant that we should talk about is the new type of like Amiibo functionality cards. I think that's a big deal.
Oh yeah, I forgot
That's
about.
that's a very big deal, because keep in mind that eliminates the use of figures. It's going to cut down on production costs for Nintendo. We could definitely see more type of like, you know, Amiibo functionality for a lot more different games because of these things. And as if that wasn't crazy enough, they actually have now an actual, I guess it's like an e-reader, but an Amiibo reader, like an NFC kind of like capable little accessory for people that don't have, what is it, the actual new 3DS or the Wii U at the current moment, where they can use and swipe those cards. When the Animal Crossing versions of those cards drop, you can use them with the old 3DS and the 2DS. That's a big deal.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's a very, very big deal, because on top of all the other Amiibo functionality happening with Splatoon, with was it codenamed Steam, with I'm pretty sure Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, if not the other Fire Emblem stuff, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart 8, all that DLC and all the costumes you get, there's going to be even more Amiibo functionality stuff down the line. I think they're really going all in with Amiibo functionality, because on top of that, that other stuff with the actual classics thing, with the Nintendo classics, when you scan them, it unlocks those sections of the actual games, the classic games. Like, remember they scanned the Mario amiibo, and then he unlocked like a little level in Super Mario World?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal too down the line, you know, for little tidbits. That's kind of like your taste for different classic games in the eShop. I really wish that maybe they would go a little bit much more, get more than just a taste, especially for a Nintendo character, like a figure like that. They should actually give you a little bit more of a bone, like give you like a cheap game that's like related to that character, a real cheap game or something much more than that.
Yeah. Well, I think that the whole thing with the Amiibos is that this is just like any business. When they see something that is successful, they're going to continue to milk it as much as they can or use it to their advantage. Now, I'm not going to say nothing negative about Nintendo. They're just making smart moves as far as that's concerned, because they know how those Amiibos are popular. They basically want to, go out there and try to make, because they can't keep mass producing the figures. So they got the cards now. That's good, but they want to try and keep a good thing going.
Now check this out. No, tell me if you disagree with me here. If you don't think that Zelda Wii U, when that game drops, will not have Amiibo support, then you're crazy. Because I have a strong feeling going forward now, from what I've seen in this direct, especially what they're doing with Splatoon, because Splatoon now is getting Amiibos. Like, who asked for that? That was random, completely. Okay, I'm pretty sure Splatoon, Zelda Wii U, Star Fox. I'm pretty damn sure Star Fox will have Amiibo support. All the big Nintendo games, especially ones that they're really pushing forward, are going to get this. So if they don't get their own figures, which again, like I said, I'm really surprised Splatoon got their own figures. Random, that boy, what is it? I'd be very surprised if we don't see, again, when the announcement of Star Fox Wii U happens and Zelda Wii U happens, we also see other Amiibo stuff with that as well. Because keep in mind, the Smash Brothers Amiibo run is coming to an end pretty soon. They're almost done with all the characters.
Oh yeah.
I'm
you know that
I really think that Zelda will have Amiibo support.
Well, when the Zelda Wii U one comes out, that'll probably be the one that'll be hard to find in pretty much every store in North America. So yeah, that's a
Yeah.
popular character. That game will be. That is probably, I would say that's probably their most anticipated game now. But I mean, hey, Xenoblade Chronicles looks good. The Fire
Yeah,
Emblem.
that's another one we didn't hear about. Xenoblade Chronicles X. That's another game we did not hear about. I would expect that we'll see that at E3 when we go. That'll be definitely another game that drops. I mean, or at least show some. Because remember that it was at E3 last year. I remember it because I got trolled by it because it's really funny. But I'm pretty sure we'll definitely see that game in action, if not gameplay, at E3. I mean, there's other games too. I mean, what was it? We saw Yoshi's Woolly World, which, that's another one that, since we're talking about Amiibos, Yoshi's Woolly World is completely different than all the other Amiibo stuff. It's actually made out of yarn. That's crazy. Like, I mean, that's definitely going to be a collector's item, but, like, look at what they're doing with all the games they're really pushing. They're really tying in together Amiibo support and all these, like, different versions, different, parts to it that give you different capabilities with your games. They're really going all in with this thing.
Yeah.
And arguably, okay, you can make the argument that as for those Amiibos, you get more use across multiple avenues than something like Skylanders and Disney Infinity. Clearly, because one Mario Amiibo could work for three things currently right now at the moment. That's Smash Brothers, Mario Party, or actually no, I think about four: Smash Brothers, Mario Party 10, Mario Kart 8, and also your classics collection. Look at buying that $12.99 figure or $11.99 figure, you could use it across 4, if not more, different games.
Well, that's a good thing.
That's a great thing. I mean, that's more value. But at the same time, that also says another thing about other Amiibo figures. Maybe that Yoshi's Woolly World would also still have the same type of functionality as a Yoshi, like in Smash Brothers or Mario Kart, if not other games down the line, because that Toad Amiibo does the same thing for Captain Toad and Mario Party 10. Random stuff like I feel like you can now, start trying to predict like what type of stuff you'd be able to use your Amiibos for. It seems like a better investment, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it is. It is a very good investment. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So, any final thoughts on Nintendo's performance today? Their direct, if you will.
Final thoughts. I mean, there was some other stuff there that I'll just briefly say. Like again, the Animal Crossing Happy Home design. It seems like a stupid concept, unless you're like really into Animal Crossing. But I think the thing to come out of that was the NFC reader accessory. I think that's the big deal out of that. Then you had other random stuff like Puzzle and Dragons Z, and Puzzle and Dragons Mario Edition, which it's 2 games in one. You're basically paying for 2 games, but you're doing the price of 1. A new Fatal Frame. That was the other one. I mean, that I have to mention as my closing thoughts. Fatal Frame. That's something that came out of left field as well. Like I know there was some rumors, some rumblings here and there. I remember seeing a Japanese ad about Fatal Frame like a while back about it, but I didn't expect it to be on the Wii U. That was like totally from left field.
I saw those rumors too, so that was a surprise.
There's just so much weird stuff, from all over the place. That's good. Don't get me wrong, good. But like, from that gave us stuff that what Nintendo wanted to show us that gave us something, but it wasn't exactly what we wanted. That's a lot of people are gonna say this Nintendo Direct was kind of useless or was kind of like a quote unquote failure, because I know I saw immediately after the Direct, I was looking on Twitter and I saw a bunch of people saying that. But I think what people need to understand is that this is that stuff that we wanted to see, but we actually got to see some cool stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, like I said before, I think we got to see some okay stuff. I mean, some stuff was pretty good, but overall, I think everybody is waiting to see how they're going to make up for the fact that we're not getting Zelda this year, and whether or not that's Star Fox or something we know absolutely nothing about. Well, we'll know by E3 because that's where it is. That is the Super Bowl of video game. So
if they don't show Star Fox at E3, then Nintendo's out in some real deep trouble. I'm telling you right now, because then people are going to riot at E3. I'm telling you.
Oh no, they'll just release another Mario game, and that'll do well. People
technically, they don't have to because of Mario Maker. It's like, here, go make your own Mario games. It's like Microsoft with Conquer. Like, hey, here's Project Spark. Go make your own Conquer game.
Yeah, but that's not good. They need to make a Conquer game. I don't want to play Conquer in Project Spark.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm good. That's all I got to say about this Nintendo Direct.
yeah. So like I said before, pretty good show. I expect to see some more, but we are officially pretty much only a few months away now from E3, so it's a lot to be excited about. Um, but yeah, for those of you that saw the Nintendo Direct, please feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below. Let us know what you thought about the show, which games you're looking forward to. And also, if you guys would like to make a donation to us, we are taking donations now on YouTube, just to let you guys know. But it is not it's not in any way mandatory. We love doing this stuff. We'll continue to bring you guys good content. But that pretty much covers it for this edition of the React Podcast. So I'm Editor-in-Chief Richard Bailey. This is Jakejames Lugo.
Later, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Big stuff coming down the line.
Definitely. We'll talk to you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.